Hi guys, welcome to a different type of video. I'm going to do another one similar to this, but you'll see when it comes out. This one is for all the physical books that I own that are nonfiction that I have not read. I would like to get to these this year. I don't know. Nonfiction kind of intimidates me. I am very much, it's like I like learning, but I don't want the books to seem like they are a textbook. So I know I like Erik Larson's writing. I don't own any physical books by Erik Larson. I've read 3 of his books via audiobook and absolutely love those ones. So I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with what might intrigue me and stuff like that, but it still is very much an intimidating genre for me. So let me go ahead and show you the books that I have. I'll read the synopsis of these, and this is just to try to maybe hold myself a little accountable to reach for these. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay. I'm just going to go from the top of my stack and work my way down. So the one on the top, and these are in no particular order, this is Decoding Your Cat by the American College of Veterinary Behaviorists. The ultimate experts explain common cat behaviors and reveal how to prevent or change unwanted ones. So, my mom has a friend who has a daughter who read this and said she wished she would have read this sooner so that she gives her cats a good life, but it would have been just a little bit better had she have read this because of what she learned in this. And so I thought, okay, I need to read this. You know, anything that'll help make my cat, Ophelia, make her life just a little bit better, more comfortable, is great. So I just haven't picked it up because, again, nonfiction really intimidates me, but I do want to get to this. It says, every cat owner has wondered, why is my cat acting this way? Decoding Your Cat, a comprehensive, easy-to-understand guide to demystifying your cat's behavior, likely has the answer. Armed with the newest science on cat behavior as well as effective veterinary-approved methods and real-life examples, this must-have book empowers cat owners to understand why their cat acts the way he does, addresses behavior problems, and ensure a happy life for their pet. Thankfully, Ophelia does not have any behavior problems, but I could have a cat in the future that might. So it'd be good to know how to address those in advance. Let's see. Decoding Your Pet gives owners new insight on promoting their cat's physical and psychological health and wellness, all while maintaining a long and fulfilling relationship together. Cat owners will learn to prepare for their new kittens or cats, provide a happy, safe, and functional home. That's, I want to make sure I have, which I'm sure I do, but it's still good to have that affirmed. Recognize and understand behavioral changes. That's good, because especially as my cat is 13, so Ophelia is 13. So especially as she gets older, to recognize things that might be red flags for something that's going on would be really good. Prevent, manage, or resolve unwanted behaviors like urinating outside the litter box, aggression, and more. I don't have to worry about that, but you never know. I could have a cat in the future that I will. Identify and seek treatment for medical health problems. That would be really good to know. And help cats live longer and fuller lives. Always a plus on that. So I do want to get to this. Again, it's the same thing with all of these. It's always going to be intimidating. Now this one I heard someone on BookTube talk about, and it sounded really, really interesting. That is The Disappearing Spoon and Other Tales of Madness, Love, and the History of the World from the Periodic Table of Elements. Oh, by Sam Keene. The science was one of my favorite subjects. It was hard, but there were more aspects in science when I was in school that fascinated me. And so I would like to learn a little bit more. But again, intimidation, and I'm going to say that about every frickin' book. It says, why did Gandhi hate iodine? I-53. How did radium, Ra-88? See, and I don't care about that. I really don't care about that. But to know more about the, radium would be cool. How did radium nearly ruin Marie Curie's reputation? I read The Radium Girls, and I did like that. I do highly recommend The Radium Girls. I read the YA version of that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Let's see. And why is gallium the go-to element for laboratory pranksters? I don't even know what that is. The periodic table is a crowning scientific achievement, but it's also a treasure trove of passion, adventure, betrayal, and obsession. These fascinating tales follow all the elements on the table as they play out their parts in human history, finance, mythology, conflict, the arts, medicine, and the lives of the frequently mad scientists who discovered them. The Disappearing Spoon masterfully fuses science with the classic lore of invention, investigation, discovery, and alchemy from the Big Bang through the end of time. See, it sounds good. I just wish it wasn't so intimidating. If you want, and I'll try and remember to link her channel in the description box, if you want great, at least I think they're great because they sound good and the way she talks about them sounds good. She reads a lot of nonfiction, and that's a book Olive. The channel is a book Olive. So Olive from a book Olive. She has a lot of great nonfiction recommendations. I don't know if she's read anything by Erik Larson, which I personally really like, and I want to get my own physical copies of all his books. But she does some great stuff on there. She also does this thing like comparing the literature book with a Wishbone adaptation. I remember watching Wishbone and loved Wishbone when it was like my time. I loved Wishbone. It was a TV show that did kind of an adaptation of like a book and applying it to real life situations and how like trying to draw similarities and differences. It was really cool. Anyway, she has a lot of great sounding, because I haven't read them, so I can't say for sure if I think they're great, but they're great sounding nonfiction recommendations. So I highly recommend checking her out. She does read a lot of nonfiction, so definitely way more than I do. Like 90 times more than I do, I'm gonna say, because I rarely read nonfiction. This next one is really short, so it shouldn't be as intimidating, but it still is because it's nonfiction. So it is signed and personalized. I ordered it online because I thought it sounded really good, and that it is less than 150 pages. So this is Beaten Black and Blue by Brandon Tatum. He's either conservative or on the right. I don't know. Being a black cop in an America under siege. So I don't know. I think this will be really interesting, especially coming from, one, he's black, and two, he was a police officer. From that perspective, I think would be interesting. This one says, what's it really like to be a black police officer in today's America? Defund the police is shouted in the streets. ACAB is spray painted in precinct buildings. Countless citizens believe all police are racists. Yeah. And I know not all of them. That's like saying all teachers are pedophiles, and that's not the case. Or all religions are cults, and that's not the case. It's just, there's corruption wherever you go, whatever organization. Let's see. Okay. In this era of civil unrest and political divide, how do black cops, or any cops, maintain the motivation and commitment to do their job? Former police officer, co-founder of BLEXIT, Blexit, I don't know, and founder and CEO of the Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, shares his story and the stories of other police officers in the pages of this book, Beaten Black and Blue. Read why they joined force and what it's really like on the streets and how they continue to fight the good fight. Forget what you think you know and learn the truth. Well, truth is truth, but someone's truth is going to be different depending on the truth. So, like the experience with being a police officer, someone's truth is going to be way different than someone's truth. But I thought it would still be interesting and maybe learn something new, maybe not, maybe have an eye-opening experience, maybe not, who knows. I think it's good to know some differences of opinion so that you can challenge your own beliefs on certain things. Moving on is a biography, and this one is, oh, there's pictures in here. Love that. Anyway, there's pictures. So this one is Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton. The magic and mayhem of growing up a wizard. I thought that would be really cool to read about. So it's got some pictures of him. And honestly, Draco is one of my favorite. Like in the Harry Potter franchise, the Weasleys are my favorite family, but Draco is my favorite character. So it says, they stood 30 of us in a line, one of the adults. I would later find out that this was the director, Chris Columbus, went down the line asking each of us which part of the book we were most excited to see on screen. I remember being underwhelmed by the question, as the responses came clear and certain. Hagrid, Fang, Quidditch. I remember standing there wondering if I could go home soon. It was only when it came to the turn of the kid next to me that I realized not only had I given the question zero thought, I had absolutely no idea what anybody was talking about. Who was Hagrid? What was Quidditch? My neighbor announced that he was most excited to see Gringotts. There was no time to find out. Chris Columbus turned to me. What bit of the book are you most looking forward to seeing, Tom? I stalled. There was an awkward silence in the audition room. I gave my most winning smile and pointed at the Gringotts guy. Same as him, mate, I said. Can't wait to see those Gringotts. There was a happy pause. You mean you're looking forward to seeing Gringotts? The bank? Columbus said. Oh yeah, I blagged quickly. The bank. Can't wait. So, interesting. So that sounds like he auditioned before he had even read any of the books. So, I don't know. Anyway, this next one I have is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I actually did start this one in ebook form, and there was a couple of things I wanted to underline. So I stopped reading it, like less than 100 pages, and wanted to get my own physical copy so I could, and I just haven't picked it back up yet. And I was enjoying what I read so far. It says, in her memoir, a work of deep reflection and mesmerizing storytelling, Michelle Obama invites readers into her world, chronicling the experiences that have shaped her, from her childhood in the south of Chicago to her years as an executive balancing the demands of motherhood and work, to her time spent at the world's most famous address. With unerring honesty and lively wit, she describes her triumphs and her disappointments, both public and private, telling her full story as she has lived it in her own words and in her own terms. Michelle Robinson Obama served as First Lady of the United States from 2009 to 2017. A graduate of Princeton University and Harvard Law School, Mrs. Obama started her career as an attorney at the Chicago law firm Sidley and Austin, where she met her future husband, Barack Obama. She later worked in the Chicago Mayor's office at the University of Chicago and at the University of Chicago Medical Center. Mrs. Obama also founded the Chicago chapter of Public Allies, an organization that prepares young people for careers in public service. So, I thought that sounded good, and I would like to learn more about the presidents that we have had throughout the United States, as well as the first ladies, I think is what they're called, but yeah. And if we ever get a female in office as president, I'd like to read more, like a biography about her, and then if she's married, the first husband or first man, whatever he would be called. Or if she's gay, then the other first lady. So who knows? But yeah, I thought this sounded good. And again, I had started reading it in ebook form, but wanted to read the physical because there was a lot of stuff I wanted to underline that were really good. And I think I'll try and find the audiobook as well, because I've heard that Michelle Obama narrates it herself. So I want to read that. Next up, I had this one on a previous TBR and ran out of time, so I did not get to it. But this is a collection of essays, and it is Black Nerd Problems by William Evans and Omar Holmon. So this kind of gives me comic book vibes with the cover. But yeah, so it's a collection of essays. It says, let's see, when William Evans and Omar Holmon founded Black Nerd Problems, they had no idea whether anyone beyond their small circle of friends would be interested in their little corner of the internet. But soon after launching, they were surprised to find out that there was a wide community of people who hungered for fresh perspectives on all things nerdy from the perspective of #owned voices. In the years since, Evans and Holmon have built a large, dedicated fan base eager for their brand of cultural critique whether in the form of a laugh-out-loud, raucous Game of Thrones episode recap or an eloquent essay on dealing with grief through comedy. Now they are ready to take the next step with this vibrant and hilarious essay collection, which covers everything from the X-Men, love the X-Men, to Breonna Taylor, don't know who that is, with insight and intelligence. A much needed and fresh pop culture critique from the perspective of people of color. This is a ultimate celebration for anyone who loves a blend of social commentary and all things nerdy. So I thought it sounded good. And this one I actually won a while ago from Goodreads and I haven't gotten to it yet. Again, intimidation. So next up, this one is actually a journal and I haven't even started this one yet. And I should just take this down and maybe start filling stuff out, like one little part of it a day. So I might do that. But it's Get Untamed, the journal, How to Quit Pleasing and Start Living by Glennon Doyle. So it says, every life is an unprecedented experiment, this life of mine alone. So I've stopped asking people for directions to places they've never been. There is no map. We are all pioneers. Glennon Doyle. I got this one from an independent bookstore in Durango, Colorado, and I just haven't started writing in it yet. It's a prompted journal. So, let's begin by unearthing ideals and expectations that you grew up with. What were you taught to believe makes a good daughter or child? And then you just fill it out. So it's all prompted. What do you want more than anything in the world? What is keeping you from getting it? So I think I'll take this down to my work area, to my desk, and just try to fill out a page a day, or read a little bit and then journal the next day. I don't know. So I'm going to set this to the side, take that down and start working on that. Okay. Next up, I don't remember how I came across this. I think I found it somewhere. I don't remember. I've had it for long enough. So I love the movie The Princess Bride. And then this came into my possession. So, As You Wish, Inconceivable Tales from the Making of The Princess Bride by Cary Elwes? I don't know. Cary played the main heroine in this. The guy that tries to save Princess Buttercup. So, I don't remember his character's name. So let me go ahead. Oh my gosh, it's signed. I did not know that. I did not know that. That is signed. Okay. Let's see. Storm the castle once more. Standing on the stage for the 25th anniversary of The Princess Bride, I felt an almost overwhelming sense of gratitude and nostalgia. It was a remarkable night, and it brought back vivid memories of being part of what appears to have become a cult classic film about pirates and princesses, giants and jesters, cliffs of insanity, and of course rodents of unusual size. It truly was as fun to make the movie as it is to watch it. From getting to work on William Goldman's brilliant screenplay to being directed by the inimitable, Rob Reiner. Being worked with Rob Reiner. It is not an exaggeration to say that most days on the set were exhilarating, from wrestling Andre the Giant to the impossibility of playing Mostly Dead with Billy Crystal, cracking jokes above me, to the choreographing the greatest sword fight in modern times with Mandy Patinkin. To being part of the kiss that left all the others behind with Robin Wright. In this book, I've gathered many more behind-the-scenes stories and hopefully answers to many of the questions we've all received over the years from fans. Additionally, Robin, Billy, Rob, and Mandy, as well as Christopher Guest, Wallace Shawn, Fred Savage, Chris Sarandon, Carol Kane, Norman Lear, and William Goldman, graciously share their own memories and stories from making this treasured film. If you'd like to know a little bit more about the making of The Princess Bride as seen through the eyes of a young actor who got much more than he bargained for, along with the rest of the brilliant cast, then all I can say is As You Wish. So, I love the movie. My favorite is the rhyming scene before they reach the Cliffs of Insanity. Love that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to this, but again, It's the intimidation, and then under the dust jacket you do have that. So, and then it's just, that's without the dust jacket. So yeah, I just need to get to it, but I don't know when that will be. I hope sooner rather than later, but so that's the story of my life there. So as you can see, so the name of, so for those of you who are new, the name of my title is An Autistic Reader. I am autistic. I love to read. Not very creative when it comes to the channel name, but I grew up being told I had, you know, depression and anxiety, which yes, I do have depression and anxiety. But as things started to get worse and decline mentally in my life, I had doctors say I was bipolar. I had them say I was schizophrenic, or I had borderline personality disorder and OCD. No, I have OCD tendencies. I don't have OCD. But there are some things I'm very rigid with. And it took seeing some different people and finally someone going, you don't have any of that. You are autistic. Let's test to confirm, but I'm pretty sure you're autistic. And yeah, I am autistic. So I was diagnosed at age, 36 or 37 as being on the spectrum. And I would like to learn more about autism and stuff like that. So, and read more about other people's experiences about being autistic, especially read more about from women who are autistic that were diagnosed later in life and maybe misdiagnosed in the earlier in their life. So I have two books about autism. This first one is really small. It is Sensory Issues for Adults with Autism Spectrum Disorder by Diarmuid, Heffernan. It says, in this book, the author manages to explain a hugely complicated subject area in a way that is eminently readable and informative. He bridges the gap between science and the lived experience extremely well, with a healthy dose of suggested ways in which individuals might be supported. That's what I like. It says, understanding sensory issues can be the key to overcoming them. Yeah, now that I understand I have sensory issues, I'm able to adapt my life and not be so overwhelmed and have meltdowns and, you know, just be better or put myself better mentally, if that makes sense. It says, this practical guide will help people with autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, to understand their sensory difficulties and learn how to create a tailored plan for dealing with specific everyday challenges. Learn how the senses work and how sensory systems can function differently for people with ASD. What are the difficulties that can arise at work, college, home, or in public or cyberspaces, including practical strategies and how to create a unique sensory plan based on frequently encountered environments and situations. This book will help any adult with ASD to cope with their sensory difficulties. So, yeah. Absolutely. I think that'll be very beneficial to read. It's short. It is, looks like 164 pages. So yeah, I look forward to all of these. And of course I'm just intimidated. I'm going to say that over and over. This next one, Gaia from Gaia Athena read this book, and the way that she described it sounded really, really good. And I'll link her channel in the description box, as well, so you can watch some of the book reviews that she has done. And it made me want to pick this up. It is In a Different Key, The Story of Autism by Donavan and Caren Zucker. It says, nearly 75 years ago, Donald Triplett of Forest, Mississippi, became the first child diagnosed with autism. Beginning with his family's odyssey in a different key, tells the extraordinary story of this often misunderstood condition. Very misunderstood. From the civil rights battles waged by the families of those who have it to the fierce debates among scientists over how to define and treat it. Unfolding over decades, it is a beautifully rendered history of the shift from an era when children were condemned to institutions to one in which a cadre of people with autism advocate for a new understanding of autism as a difference rather than a disability. So I thought that sounded good. And so I got a copy. Again, it's just an intimidation thing. I'm intimidated by all of them. But those are all the nonfiction books that I have on my shelf that I want to read. I'm just intimidated by them. Let me know if you like nonfiction, what your favorite is or your favorite author is, and maybe I'll look into that. I would like to read more nonfiction and things like that. Just talk to me in the comments section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.